Practice makes you perfect, right? Wrong. Let me give you an example. In any profession, in the beginning, when we are at novice level, the improvement in skills is rapid. At that point of time, any practice usually helps. But then, after we get to adequate level of skills, practice does not seem to make a difference at all. For example, a study of doctors revealed that doctors who were 20 years into their career were no better than doctors who were only 5 years into their careers. Why? Well, a doctor who has 5 years experience will most likely be much better than a doctor who just has a single year of experience. But by the time they reach their 5th year, when their skills get to adequate level, there usually is no further improvement with more experience or more practice. When you are at a novice level, you do get better with practice, but only till you reach a satisfactory level of performance. After that point of time, any further practice, any further experience doesn't really make you any better, unless you utilize what is known as deliberate practice. Only deliberate practice makes you perfect. Well, leadership is no different. In the early years of being a manager or a leader, there is significant improvement in the skill level with practice or experience. Then we reach a plateau and there is no more improvement in skills with more experience or more practice. The study by Anders Ericsson on the impact of deliberate practice. Anders Ericsson recruited Steve Faluna, an undergraduate student from Carnegie Mellon University, to conduct an experiment on deliberate practice. For a period of 1 hour, Steve had to listen to a string of random digits and try to recall and repeat the digits only from his memory, working memory. He started with recalling 6 digits. When he was successful in recalling 6 digits for a few repetitions, he would then go up to trying to recall 7-digit strings of numbers. In case he had difficulty recalling 7-digit strings for a few repetitions, he would go down one level to recalling only 6 digits. Well, this way Steve was always pushing his limits and working at the end of his comfort zone. The short-term memory or the working memory is estimated to hold just 7 bits of information, and Steve could soon recall 7-digit numbers with relative ease. Then he sort of hit a wall and had difficulty recalling 8-digit strings of numbers. It would really frustrate him, but he kept coming back week after week and every day practicing for an hour. Then one fine day he had a breakthrough. He went from being able to recall only 7 digits number to recalling 8 digits, 9 digits, 10 digits and even 11-digit numbers by the end of that single 1 hour session. It was a real breakthrough. Well, with this pattern of hitting a wall, getting frustrated and still continuing the practice and then suddenly getting a breakthrough happened routinely as he kept working on trying to recall more and more digits from his working memory. He got stuck at being able to recall 22 digits. Then suddenly he hit a breakthrough and could go much higher. The same thing happened at 34 digits and so on and so forth. By the end of his 200th session, Steve was able to recall numbers that were, and are you ready for this? The numbers that were 82 digits long. 82. That is 75 more digits than the numbers he thought he would be able to recall. from the working memory, which is just 7 digits. So he was performing at a level much higher than anticipated. Isn't that unbelievable? 82 digits. Anders credits the 4 components of deliberate practice for this remarkable achievement. Here are the 4 components of deliberate practice. Number 1, a well-defined short-term goal. Well, in this case, the goal was obvious. When Steve was able to successfully recall a 12-digit number, recalling 13 digits was the immediate next goal. Number 2, practice sessions with intense focus. He consistently practiced recalling the digits 1 hour per day without fail. Number 3, immediate feedback. Steve received immediate feedback whether he got the digits right or not. And finally, number 4, working at the edge of comfort zone. When Steve extended his abilities to remember 10-digit numbers, he would immediately move up to recalling 11 digits. On the other hand, if he failed to recall a 10-digit number for a few repetitions, he would go back down to recalling 9-digit numbers. Why was this helpful? Because Steve was working in his growth zone. The growth zone lies between the comfort zone and the panic zone. Working consistently in the growth zone helped Steve constantly improve until he could recall unbelievable number of digits. This unbelievable performance using deliberate practice. As a result of deliberate practice using these 4 steps, Steve's brain came up with new and creative ways of thinking and remembering the digits on the string of numbers. One such idea was to think of the numbers as attached to the branch of a tree. Another idea was to see the 4-digit long number as a single chunk. When he reached being able to recall 22-digit numbers, he had learned to chunk 6 digits of the numbers in a single chunk. Well, without deliberate practice involving these 4 steps that just I talked about, it is difficult for the brain to come up with new techniques, and it is not possible to achieve such almost impossible looking breakthroughs. Anders repeated the same experiment with Steve's friend Dario. Dario learned much faster, was able to remember 20-digit numbers within just a few sessions. Why? Because Steve had taught him how to use his own mental representations and the techniques he had learned through his own practice. Dario later also developed some of his own techniques. With the head start of Steve's techniques and coming up with some of his own, Dario was able to recall 100-digit numbers solely from his working memory. That brings us to another point. Get a skill coach. Therein lies the second amazing idea for performance improvement. Get a skill coach. Anders Ericsson had found this to be the formula for breakthrough performance improvement. What is deliberate practice? According to the author James Clear, deliberate practice refers to a special type of practice that is purposeful and systematic. While regular practice might include mindless repetitions, deliberate practice requires focused attention and is conducted with specific goal of improving performance in a specific area. Number 1, well-defined goal and motivation to achieve it. Number 2, intense focus and repeated practice. Number 3, immediate feedback. As Peter Drucker said, you cannot manage what you don't measure. Feedback requires that we measure and compare each repetition with the previous one and work on getting just a little bit better. And finally, number 4, working at the end of comfort zone, in the stretch or growth zone, and not going so far as to hit the panic zone. Get the power of deliberate practice for your leadership improvement. Our Marshall Goldsmith Stakeholder Centered Coaching, we call it MGSCC, utilizes these two concepts perfectly. Which two concepts? Number one, deliberate practice. Number two, coaching. That probably is the reason that this method has a success rate of 95%. First, working on one or two specific areas of improvement instead of talking about general principles and theories of leadership. A clear goal. Number two, intense focus on improving just these 2 or 3 areas. Focus delivers results. Number three, using stakeholders to get immediate feedback and reinforcement. Well, there can be little improvement without measurement and feedback. And number four, growth lies outside of the comfort zone. When leaders practice their new behaviors to get better, it is uncomfortable in the beginning, but with enough practice and feedback, these behaviors become second nature for the leader. They become the part of the skill set of the leader. Here are some of the features of the Marshall Goldsmith Stakeholder Centered Coaching process. Guaranteed and measurable leadership growth as assessed not by us but anonymously rated by the leader's own stakeholders. Unlike training or executive education programs, the entire team will be involved in doing their day-to-day work. The leader becomes the coach, and what is the benefit? Well, it has a cascading effect on the entire team all the way down to the front line. It is a system for continuous improvement for the leader themselves and for their entire team. In a study of 11,000 leaders on 4 continents, 95% of the leaders using this process improved. 95%. This is the exact same process that has been used by more than 150 of the Fortune 500 companies to grow leaders in their organization. Now you have access to the exact same process. In fact, we are so confident of this process that we often work on a no growth, no pay basis. Don't try that with other vendors. What should you do next? Well, schedule an exploratory 15-minute call or a conversation with our leadership advisor today. How can you do that? Well, you can click on the link in the description or call on the number in the link or shown on your screen. As always, thank you so much for watching this video and see you soon in the next video. Thank you.